Have you ever met a woman, felt an instant connection, and then wondered why she seemed interested in someone else instead? Or why, despite your best efforts, some women just don't respond the way you expect? The truth is brutal, but it's one every man needs to hear. First impressions aren't just about looks, charm, or confidence. They're psychological signals, and women are noticing things you don't even realize. Most men focus on the wrong details. They spend hours choosing the perfect outfit, crafting a witty opening line, or flexing their achievements. And while these things might matter superficially, psychology shows that women are picking up on subtle energy, behavioral patterns, and subconscious cues within the first 7 seconds. That's faster than a swipe, faster than a handshake, faster than any joke you think will land. 7 seconds, that's all it takes. And here's what's shocking. It isn't just about appearance. Sure, grooming, posture, and dress matter, but only because they are symbols of deeper traits. What women actually notice is consistency between what you project and what your body says. Your energy, your calmness, your ability to be present, all of it communicates who you are before you speak a single word. Think about the last time a man caught your attention instantly. It wasn't his clothes or his car or the perfect pickup line. It was the way he carried himself, the subtle confidence in his posture, the grounded energy that made you feel safe, intrigued, and respected simultaneously. Women respond to psychological alignment, not performance. And here's the part most men never see. First impressions are filters. They determine almost everything else that happens after meeting someone. If your energy signals insecurity, neediness, or chaos, no amount of charm will repair it. If your energy signals calm, confidence, and emotional awareness, women are drawn in, curious, and psychologically invested in figuring you out. So the question every man should ask isn't, how do I impress her? It's, what does my presence, energy, and alignment say before I even speak? Once you understand this, you stop guessing what women want, and you start creating the kind of presence they instinctively notice and want to engage with. Here's a reality almost every man misses. Women notice micro-behaviors far more than you realize. It isn't your jokes, your stories, or even your smile alone. It's your subtle confidence, your timing, your body language, and the way you inhabit space. Psychology calls these cues non-verbal leakage. Every nervous twitch, every rushed movement, every lack of eye contact communicates volumes before you speak. Think about it. You could have the best wardrobe, the funniest lines, and the perfect text follow-ups. But if your energy is chaotic, insecure, or desperate, she notices immediately. She doesn't need to explain it. Her subconscious feels it. And in those first moments, the brain is running a rapid assessment. Is this man safe? Is he confident? Does he have emotional control? Will he be reliable? Women aren't consciously critiquing you. They're scanning for alignment between your appearance, your presence, and your energy. When there's mismatch, attraction drops. When there's alignment, curiosity spikes, and engagement flows naturally. That's why some men seem to get women without trying, while others, who spend hours overthinking, can't seem to generate interest at all. Here's where most men fail. They focus only on what they say and completely ignore how they show up. Do you stand grounded, shoulders back, head high, with calm breathing? Or do you slouch, fidget, and rush through interactions? Do your eyes meet hers naturally, without being forced, or do they dart around, betraying tension? Women notice these cues instinctively, and their brains assign value based on them, even before a word is exchanged. And here's the psychological kicker. The most attractive men aren't those who perform, they're those who manage their internal state first. Calm energy signals stability. Subtle dominance without aggression signals leadership. Emotional awareness signals depth. When you control your energy, your nervous system, and your presence, every movement, every glance, every word reinforces your appeal instead of sabotaging it. So the lesson is simple but often ignored. First impressions are not about trying harder. They're about being grounded, self-aware, and emotionally calibrated. Once you master that, attraction flows naturally, curiosity grows, and women instinctively notice you. Now let's talk about something most men completely overlook: vocal tone and cadence. Psychology shows that women respond not just to what you say, but how you say it. Your voice carries emotional signals: confidence, calmness, dominance, and stability. Even slight variations in pitch, speed, or rhythm can make you seem more trustworthy, attractive, or compelling. Think about the men you've noticed instantly. It wasn't only their posture or style, it was the way they spoke. They didn't rush. They didn't oversell themselves. They spoke with a calm, controlled rhythm, pausing strategically, letting their words land naturally. That subtle confidence sends a signal that says, I'm grounded, I'm aware, I'm in control. Most men ignore this and speak too quickly, nervously, or in a high-pitched tone when they're excited or anxious. The result? They trigger subconscious perceptions of insecurity, chaos, or emotional instability. Women detect this instantly, even if they can't explain why they feel less drawn to the man. Conversely, a slow, measured, slightly lower-pitched tone conveys composure, authority, and magnetism. It's one of the most overlooked first impression hacks in psychology, and it works every time you consciously apply it. Another critical point is energy matching. Women subconsciously mirror or resonate with the energy of the men they interact with. If your energy is frantic, anxious, or needy, she unconsciously mirrors that tension, creating discomfort. If your energy is calm, confident, and balanced, she unconsciously matches it, creating attraction and curiosity. Vocal tone is a major part of that energy. Your presence and the way you sound dictate how people experience you before they even process your words. Here's the hidden truth. The first impression isn't about performance. It's about alignment, body language, energy, tone, and presence all working together to signal confidence and emotional control. When these elements are in harmony, attraction is automatic. You don't need tricks. You don't need flashy lines. You don't need approval. You simply radiate a presence that women notice instinctively. So if you've been struggling to make an impression, stop focusing on what to say and start mastering how you show up, from posture to voice to emotional energy. That's where the real psychology of attraction begins. There's another factor in first impressions that most men completely underestimate: microactions and behavioral patterns. Women notice subtle habits instantly: how you handle small social cues, how you treat others around you, and even how you move through space. Psychology shows that these tiny signals are processed in the brain subconsciously, and they have a bigger impact on attraction than what you say or even how you look. Think about it. A man who opens doors smoothly, greets people politely, maintains steady eye contact, and moves with calm confidence communicates value, respect, and control without saying a word. Conversely, slouching, fidgeting, looking distracted, or overcompensating with exaggerated gestures communicates insecurity. Women don't consciously tally these behaviors. They feel them, and that feeling forms the foundation of the first impression. Another micro-action women notice immediately is how you handle interruptions or unexpected moments. Do you stay composed when something goes off script, or do you get flustered? Do you laugh nervously, overcompensate, or lash out subtly? Your reaction to these moments is a psychological shortcut for them to gauge your emotional stability. Emotional stability is magnetic. Instability is a turn-off. Even small things like the way you smile, nod, or gesture subtly while speaking make a huge difference. Women pick up on authenticity versus performance within seconds. If your body language aligns with your energy and words, you are perceived as trustworthy, confident, and attractive. If it doesn't, it creates a sense of tension, discomfort, or doubt, even if you say all the right things. Here's the critical point. First impressions aren't built in isolation. Every gesture, every movement, every tone of voice, and every micro-behavior compounds into a single, subconscious narrative in her mind. If your internal state is calm, confident, and present, these microactions reinforce your magnetism. If you're anxious, overthinking, or scattered, they sabotage it. So the psychological key for men is simple but rarely mastered. Internal alignment first, external consistency second. When your body, voice, energy, and presence all tell the same story, attraction becomes automatic. Women notice, they feel it, and the first impression you create sets the tone for every interaction that follows. So if you've been struggling to make an impression, stop focusing on what to say and start mastering how you show up, from posture to voice to emotional energy. That's where the real psychology of attraction begins. There's a hidden layer of first impressions that most men completely miss: the power of emotional resonance. Women aren't just noticing how you look, how you speak, or how you move. They are subconsciously gauging your emotional energy. Are you calm or anxious, open or closed, present or distracted? Within seconds, they feel the emotional tone you radiate, and it colors every judgment they make about you. Think about it. When you meet someone who is composed, calm, and slightly mysterious, you immediately feel drawn in, even if you can't articulate why. That feeling is emotional resonance. It signals psychological safety, confidence, and emotional stability, all of which are highly attractive traits. Conversely, if your energy is tense, reactive, or desperate, women feel it immediately, even if your words or actions seem fine on the surface. Emotional resonance also involves mirroring without mimicry. Subtly reflecting her energy, tone, posture, pace creates a subconscious sense of connection and comfort. But the key is subtlety. Overdoing it signals neediness. Underdoing it signals disinterest. The men who understand this strike a balance that feels effortless, drawing women in naturally without saying anything extraordinary. Another overlooked aspect is presence under scrutiny. Women often test men in the first moments, small challenges, ambiguous comments, or subtle judgments to see how they handle it. A man who maintains calm, answers with poise, and avoids reactive defensiveness instantly signals strength. Women sense that you are secure and grounded, and that security is magnetic. Emotional resonance is not about impressing. It's about projecting a state of being that feels rare and desirable. Here's the psychological insight few men recognize. First impressions are not about performance or tricks. They are about the emotional story you tell without words. Every micro-expression, every pause, every breath conveys your inner state. And women, on a subconscious level, respond to that state before they consciously evaluate anything else. So, if you want to master first impressions, stop focusing on lines, routines, or superficial charm. Focus on being emotionally aligned, calm, and resonant. Control your energy, embody your values, and let your presence tell the story before you even speak. That's the psychology of magnetic first impressions. Here's the final truth about first impressions that changes everything. Consistency amplifies attraction. Women notice instantly when your energy, body language, tone, and micro-behaviors align, and they notice just as quickly when they don't. A man who projects confidence in one moment but fidgets in the next, who smiles but avoids eye contact, or who speaks with composure but over-explains, creates subtle dissonance. That dissonance registers subconsciously and lowers attraction before a word of conversation has real impact. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about alignment between your internal state and your external presence. It's about projecting calm energy, emotional awareness, and self-assuredness in every small gesture, movement, and response. Women notice this alignment instinctively. When your presence, tone, and energy all match, you become magnetic without needing lines, tricks, or approval. Another powerful insight: first impressions aren't fixed. They evolve with how you maintain your energy over the first few minutes of interaction. That's why emotional control is critical. A man who starts confident but reacts to small challenges or subtle tests with tension or defensiveness immediately loses the magnetism he initially projected. Conversely, a man who remains steady, grounded, and subtly curious strengthens attraction continuously. Women feel this as a psychological rhythm. They respond to stability, calm, and authenticity. Here's the secret most men never realize: attraction is not created by effort, words, or trying to impress. It's created by your presence, energy, and emotional alignment, amplified consistently across every small detail: posture, gaze, tone, timing, and micro-behaviors. Every single element tells a story about who you are, and women notice before you even speak about yourself. So here's your challenge, the personal psychological equation you need to solve. Internal state plus energy alignment plus consistent micro behaviors equals your first impression impact. Ask yourself, which of these three areas are you weakest in? Which one is silently sabotaging the impression you create? Drop your answer in the comments. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden psychology of first impressions, like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend who needs to hear this today. Master this equation, and your presence will speak louder than any words ever could.